All right, guys. So I understand that Trump is not everyone's cup of tea for various reasons. But one of the reasons why I like Trump is that Trump has big cojones, right? He has big cojones. And it takes big cojones to try to take down the GOP kingmaker, Mitch McConnell, right? This man, Mitch McConnell, I've talked about him before. Some people don't like when I say this, but I'm being serious about it. The man makes the Republican Party go. He is the kingmaker of the Republican establishment. Whatever he says goes, right? Whatever he says goes from a monetary standpoint, financials, and from a legislation standpoint. If you guys haven't realized that by now, I don't know what to tell you. Just looking at everything in regards to how the GOP is operated, everything basically goes through McConnell, right? When it comes to financials and legislation. Now, Trump is king, right? Trump is king. Trump has the people on his side, and that is the current rift in the Republican Party, right? The people have sided with Trump. However, you still have a Congress full of Republicans that the voters don't really like that much. They don't really like all that much. So a lot of people are happy to hear that Trump is looking to get rid of Mitch McConnell, right? He's not only trying to make Mitch lose his leadership position in Congress, right, as the leader of the Republican in the Senate, but he's also trying to get Mitch out of Congress, period, right? Get Mitch out of Congress, period. So Trump's looking for a challenger. He's looking for the right man to do the job. Now, this is very important in regards to the ongoing war and struggle for control of the Republican Party between Trump and Mitch McConnell. And guys, I haven't talked about this in a while because it hasn't really been in the news like that. But back when this thing was front page news, I was all on this, right? Because I knew that this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen ever since basically after the election when Mitch McConnell came out against Trump. I was like, oh boy, this is not going to end well, okay? But this is important for Trump for various reasons. One, because it's obvious that Trump's running again in 2024. And Mitch McConnell, being the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, is not going to bode well for Trump from a legislative perspective and from a America First agenda perspective if Mitch McConnell is controlling the legislation. So Trump understands that he has to try to get rid of Mitch McConnell at some point. Now, there's been rumors that Mitch McConnell is looking to retire, in which they're saying that rumors are is that the Attorney General of Kentucky, Daniel Cameron, may be replacing him, but we don't know yet. However, his term ends in 2027. So if Trump wins again in 2024, then he'll be stuck with McConnell for 2 years, assuming that Mitch McConnell is still in a leadership position, because even though his term ends in 2027, he still could essentially be voted out of leadership by the Senate Republicans before that. I think in 2023, his term as leader may be up. So regardless, Trump really has two options here, right? He can try to dethrone McConnell before he's elected in 2023, right? By making sure that Mitch is not leader anymore. And if that fails, maybe he can run another candidate against Mitch, right? Run another candidate against Mitch and try to get him out of Congress altogether. But again, you would think that by 2027, Mitch will be looking to retire. I mean, the dude is in his 80s. Okay, I don't know if he wants to be in politics for that much longer. I'm not sure if Mitch is going to finish his term. But regardless, for Trump, the name of the game is to get Mitch McConnell out of the way before he takes office, right? And the reason why is because I don't think those two can coexist together, right? I think there is a stark difference between what Mitch McConnell wants from a legislative perspective and what Trump wants, right? I think that difference showed up very much so during Trump's last year in office. Now, when Trump first got in office, right, and working with Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan, essentially they did all the traditional Republican stuff, right? They did the tax cuts. They did all the things that Republicans traditionally try to do when they get in office. However, there were some things that Trump wanted, like the wall, infrastructure, right? Trump was against the wars. The Republican establishment just really wasn't on board with, right? They really were not on board with helping Trump out on certain fronts, right? When it comes to legislation and policy. And I think that kind of reared its head last year and caused a huge divide between Trump and McConnell. Again, you guys all remember what happened between Trump and McConnell when it came to the $2,000 stimulus checks in December, right? That last stimulus bill under Trump. How Trump came out and said, hey, we want $2,000, and McConnell just basically refused to do it. Even though the whole country wanted him to do the $2,000 checks, dude was just like, no, right? He's just flat out like, no. So I think a lot of that is playing into Trump's calculus here in terms of how he does not want McConnell to be in a leadership position if he takes office again. So he got to get rid of him, right? He got to get rid of him. So in order for Trump to actually get rid of McConnell, Trump has to become a king maker, right? It's not enough just to be king, right? King can get you elected. But to be a king maker, you have to either control the legislation or you have to control the money. Mitch McConnell controls both. Mitch McConnell controls both. And whoever controls the money essentially controls the Republican Party, which is why, when it comes to conservatives and in the direction that they want this party to go in, who you donate your money to matters, right? Because when it comes to donating your money to, the Republican establishment versus Trump, they're going two different things. Trump is running his own candidates, right? Trump is running candidates that are going to go against McConnell candidates in the primary in 2022. If Trump can get enough hardcore supporters, right, in Congress, whether that's the Senate or in the House, or he can prove to be influential, right, that his endorsement is absolutely needed, then he can take control of the establishment Republicans, right? The Republicans that are more aligned with Mitch McConnell. And to be quite honest with you guys, the whole establishment, all of the establishment, push come to shove, are with McConnell. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Even the hardcore Trumpers, right, they're with McConnell. And the reason why, guys, is because McConnell controls the money, right? That's the reason why. I'm so serious. As there's a couple quotes from this article, right, that really going to highlight what I'm trying to tell you guys. We have one here from Tommy Tuberville, right, when asked about Trump versus McConnell and Trump trying to get rid of McConnell and Trump trying to run a candidate to replace McConnell, the Republicans, even the ones that align with Trump, are just like, nah, we don't really want to do that. He says, nah, I'm not going to get into that fight, says Senator Tommy Tuberville, one of Trump's allies. Mr. McConnell, he added, is doing a good job. Okay. Then you have Senator John Kennedy, who essentially equated the former president's odds of ousting Mr. McConnell to that of a donkey learning to fly. I just don't realistically see that happening, said Mr. Kennedy, a Republican facing re-election next year in Louisiana and one of Mr. Trump's confidants in the Senate. Okay, so you have a couple Republicans that are actually going on record to say, nah, we're not really trying to take down Mitch McConnell. We really don't want to get rid of him. Well, why is that, guys? Well, the reason why is because Mitch McConnell controls the money, right? He is a fundraising king, okay? That's just what it is. And because Trump's not a king maker yet, right, and he is not essentially proven that he can run his own candidates from the ground floor up, these Republicans are basically saying, no, we're not getting rid of Mitch McConnell. So these Republicans don't have the cojones to go after Mitch McConnell, because if they do, Mitch McConnell has the money to get rid of them, which is why 2022 is so important for Trump. Trump has to be able to prove that he can raise money, right? Which he has. He has proved he can raise money, and that he can win primaries and general elections, right? He can get Trump-backed candidates elected. If he can do that, that is his best shot of getting rid of Mitch McConnell, because at that point, if he can take control, if he can become the king maker, that way in 2023, he will be able to dethrone McConnell from a leadership position. And at that point, if McConnell's not in leadership, I'm assuming that he retires, right? I think he's going to retire regardless. But I guess what I'm saying, guys, is that this is an interesting development from Trump that I'm not surprised about, and I understand exactly why he's doing it. But ultimately, what it's going to come down to is, can Trump become a kingmaker? Can he raise enough money? And can he get his own candidates elected in 2022? That's what it comes down to. And in my opinion, I think 2022 for Trump, honestly, is more important than 2024. Because even if Trump is elected into office in 2024, then if McConnell is still in leadership, that really limits him from a legislative perspective. Because we've seen, like I've outlined before, that McConnell's going to do what McConnell wants to do, regardless of what Trump says. It is what it is. And Trump can't have that. He can't be in that position when he gets in office, which is why he's coming out here and trying to get rid of McConnell right now, right? This is why he's going after McConnell. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.